was originally started by my former speed skater, Johan Olaf Koss from Norway, who went on to win 3 Olympic gold medals in the Lillehammer Olympics. And
you didn't do bad yourself.
Where I did okay too. And Johan was awarded money on behalf of the Norwegian country for his gold medals, and he basically took that money and really started Right to Play to help a lot of countries of war-torn areas, the kids, to try to get them, you know, what could be so simple as a soccer ball, to give them some sort of direction in their life. At one point they called, I think it was called School in a Box, where in one box they would have, you know, papers and pencils and also a soccer ball to kind of give direction in their life that really had nothing. So then through it all, it's expanded, where they were even selling soccer balls like this, where, you know, I even did that one year where I got a bunch of soccer balls and gave them as party favors for my son's birthday party. So how easy is that to think that you can do something little, but know that you're going to touch so many kids' lives who really have virtually nothing. I really think when I look back to, for instance, the 1996 Olympics, to me that's where women in sports really started to shine, because you had the success of the women's gymnastics team, the basketball team, the softball team, the soccer team. It really put women's sports, I think, on the map. And, you know, when I think back to for me as a kid, and you know, sports really shaped my life and gave me direction and taught me, you know, how to handle good things as well as bad things. And you know, sports isn't just only for boys, and sports can be for girls too. And you know, to see that you know, girls' eyes can pop wide open when they score a goal or they shoot that basket, whatever it is. But that sports can be very important in so many people's lives, but not just for boys, it's for girls too. You know, I guess both of our kids, they are very competitive. I see my daughter being favored a little bit more like me, my son favored a little bit more like my husband. My husband's, you know, very focused and calculated, and everything just has to be just so. And I can be like having a conversation with you and turn around and then go. And that's my daughter. Like not too long ago, she was at a gymnastics meet and she knew the older girls were going to be competing after her. And she's like next up. She's like, Mom, I'm in the stands. Can we like stay for, you know, the older girls? They're going, I don't like, you need to focus, turn around and get ready. We'll talk about it later. But, you know, and then she gets up there and she goes and she's great. And so, you know, I think we see as parents, everybody can kind of be different. Right. And you kind of go with the flow, but for the most part, you just give your kids the opportunity to be able to find their love, their passion, and let them run with it as wild as they can. I think the mental part for me just came from starting at such a young age that it almost became second nature. And you know, I always like to look at virtually every race that I did as the Olympic Games, because when I got there, I didn't want it to be different. So for me, you know, every time that gun went off, it was the Olympics. So, you know, I always felt like I could get in the zone almost whenever I needed to. But I think a lot of that came from having competed at such a young age that I really didn't know any different. I definitely had my frustrations along the way. It wasn't always being on the award stand and hearing the national anthem. But through it all, I never lost the love for the sport. And that would be the one thing that would keep me coming back day in and day out, and especially when things weren't going right. the other part of that was I always felt like even if things aren't going right, that doesn't mean your whole day is a loss. What I would try to do is focus on some of those things that are going correctly. Because to me, every day can't be a bad thing. So focus on those things that are going correct, and hopefully those things that you're struggling with that aren't going the right way will gradually fix them. I think sometimes if we get too caught up in the negative, it can tend to snowball on us and get out of control. So try to find those positive things, those things that are going right. Focus on those, and hopefully those other things that you're having problems with will gradually fix themselves.
Definitely a glass half full kind of attitude.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I had a brother that suffered with a brain tumor, and his glass was always way more half full than half empty. And I think I definitely learned a lot from him, that you always try to find the positives in things instead of the negatives.